Hello, my name is Larry Cohen. I'm a cognitive behavioral therapist in Washington, D.C., where I specialize in helping people struggling with social anxiety and related problems. I co-founded and co-chair the National Social Anxiety Center, which is a network of many regional clinics around the United States, all dedicated to providing and fostering effective evidence-based services for people with social anxiety. Since 1990, I've been directing the Social Anxiety Help Clinic here in Washington, D.C., where we have helped more than 1,000 people with social anxiety in both individual and group cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. Welcome to session 2 of this 3-part series about using external mindfulness and curiosity training to help you overcome your social anxiety. In the last session, you learned why it is so important to get out of our heads and into the moment when we're experiencing social anxiety. In other words, why we need to let go of the old bad habit of self-monitoring our symptoms, our performance, and to instead get absorbed in the present moment, to focus with curiosity, with taking interest in the persons, the conversation, or other activity. In this session and the next, I will be taking you through a number of exercises in curiosity training to help you get out of your heads and to focus with interest, with curiosity in what you are experiencing in the present moment. The goal is to get absorbed, to get lost in this situation, to get immersed in what you are experiencing, and to treat any distractions that you have as background noise, to diffuse, detach, and distance from those thoughts and feelings and symptoms that might be distracting you from time to time. In this first exercise, you will be transported to a beautiful nature scene. Your goal is to get lost in it, to get immersed in that experience, to be absorbed by it, by paying attention closely to what you see and hear. There are different objects such as rocks and plants, the water and waterfall, different sounds, different colors, different shapes. Pay attention to it all, one at a time and sometimes a few things together, and be immersed in what you see and hear. The second part of the goal is to defuse from any distractions you're having. Whether you feel uncomfortable, anxious, or just have miscellaneous distracting or upsetting thoughts, just notice those distractions and gently return your attention back to what you see and hear. I stress gently, don't get frustrated at yourself for being distracted, because that frustration only makes you more distracted. Instead, just notice the distraction and gently return your attention to getting immersed again in what you see and hear. Enjoy the experience and come back at the end and we'll talk about what you learned, and we have a couple more exercises for you. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that beautiful scene and your experience of it. What did it feel like for you? Did your feelings change over time as you were in the scene? How well were you able to get immersed in it, to get absorbed by what you were seeing and hearing? How often were you distracted by thoughts or feelings or symptoms? How did you react to those distractions? Were you able to quickly notice them and return your attention gently without frustration, without getting upset at yourself, to what you were seeing and hearing? This was your first practice, and for most people it takes further practice. So after this session is over, you may want to go back and experience this practice exercise again. But stick with me for now because you'll be listening to a very different song called Waving Through a Window from the musical called Dear Evan Hansen, which won the Tony Awards for Best Musical as well as other awards back in 2017. You may know that this musical is about a socially anxious high school senior and his experience with social anxiety as well as consequent depression, and his struggle to accept himself and to connect as friends with other students. This song, Waving Through a Window, comes from early in the musical in which the main character, Evan Hansen, is expressing what it is like for him to live with social anxiety. In addition to the song itself, the scene in which this song was part of in the play is being acted out by a number of characters. It is performed by a group from Utah called Working with Lemons. Your goal during this exercise is the same as your goal during the other two very different exercises. Get immersed in the experience. Get absorbed in all that you see and hear. Focus mindfully with curiosity by taking interest in the sounds, the sights, the words, the meaning, the scenes that are going on. Experience it all. This song may evoke some strong feelings for you because regardless of how old you are, you can probably relate to this kid's experience of social anxiety, what it was like for him, what it's like for you. Simply notice those feelings. Notice any other thoughts you may be having or symptoms you might be having, and then gently return those to the background as you refocus on what you see and hear in the music and the scenes. Don't get frustrated at yourself for being distracted. Just notice the distractions and return your attention to getting immersed, getting absorbed in the experience of the music and the scene. Enjoy your experience.
Have a nice day.
I've learned to slam on the brake before I even turn the key, before I make the mistake, before I lead with the worst of me. Give them no reason to stare, no slipping up if you slip away. So I got nothing to share, no, I got nothing to say. Step out of the sun if you keep getting burned. Step out of the sun because you've learned, On the outside, always looking in, will I ever be more than I've always been? 'Cause I'm tapping on the glass. I'm waving through a window, I try to speak but nobody can hear, so I wait around for an answer to appear while I'm watching people pass. I'm waving through a window, Can anybody see? Is anybody waving back at me?
Hey, sorry about my brother. I saw him push you. Evan, right?
Evan.
That's your name.
Yes, it is. Evan, sorry.
Why are you sorry?
Because you said Evan, and then I said it, and then, and then I repeated it, and that's just, it's so annoying when people do that, so.
I'm Zoe.
Yes, no, I know, so.
You know?
No, I've seen you play guitar in jazz band. I love jazz band. I love jazz. Well, like, definitely not like all jazz, but like jazz band jazz? That's so weird, I'm sorry.
You apologize a lot.
I'm sorry, I mean, you know what I mean.
Okay, well, I've gotta go.
You don't want to sell my cast, do you?
What?
No, what'd you say?
I didn't say anything. Did you say something?
No way, Jose.
Okay, Jose.
Right, I did. We start with stars in our eyes. We start believing that we belong, but every sun doesn't rise, and no one tells you where you went wrong. Step out of the sun if you keep getting burned. Step out of the sun because you've learned. On the outside, always looking in, will I ever be more than I've always been? Because I'm tapping on the glass, waving through a window. Oh, I try to speak, but nobody can hear, so I wait around for an answer to appear while I'm watching people pass. Can anybody see? Is anybody waving? When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? Did I even make a sound? Did I even make a sound? It's like I never made a sound. Will I ever make a sound? On the outside, always looking in, will I ever be more than I've always been? Because I'm tapping on the glass, waving through a window. Oh, I try to speak, but nobody can hear, so I wait around for an answer to appear while I'm watching people pass, waving through a window. Oh, can anybody see? Is anybody waving back at me? Is anybody waving?
Welcome back. How did this exercise feel for you? Did you relate to it in certain ways? How? What sort of feelings, if any, did it evoke in you? To what degree were you distracted by those feelings or simply noticed them and stayed curiously focused on what you were seeing and hearing? To what degree were you distracted by any upsetting thoughts or symptoms? And if so, how did you react to those distractions? How well were you able to get absorbed in what you experienced, get immersed in the whole experience of this song and the scene? And when you were distracted, how readily were you able to gently return your attention back to what you were seeing and hearing? Congratulations on experiencing these challenging exercises. I hope you enjoyed them and found them helpful. But stick with me for a few minutes because I have some ideas for you of how you can practice curiosity training on your own at home. This is a skill that takes practice. It's not the way our brains normally are. Our brains are normally distractible. So it takes training to be more mindfully focused, to be more curious while we're socially anxious. The first thing that I would suggest is to view this session again and to re-experience these 3 exercises and to practice them at least one more time. Again, the goal is to get immersed in them, to get absorbed by what you see and hear, and to defuse from your thoughts and feelings that will distract you from time to time, and to gently return your attention back to the present moment. The next thing that I suggest that you do is to find various situations in your day-to-day life in which you can practice curiosity training on your own, ideally for 5 to 10 minutes. There's all sorts of opportunities. It could be sitting in your room where you're paying close attention to the different sounds and the different sights, the different colors and shapes, the things that you hear and see. Or on a nice day, you could take a walk and be mindfully engaged in what you are paying attention to, the sights and sounds around you as you pass by. Or you can sit in a park or an urban plaza and people watch and notice the different people, maybe the birds and dogs, the different scenes, plants, whatever you see. Just get immersed in it all. The situation doesn't matter so much as long as it has multiple things to pay attention to, multiple sights and sounds. The goal in all cases is mindful focus on what you see and hear. In other words, taking interest, being curious about all that you're experiencing. The additional goal is whenever you are distracted by thoughts and feelings, just notice those distractions and then gently return your attention without getting frustrated or upset, without castigating yourself. Just gently return your attention back to what you are seeing and hearing, back to the experience of the moment. I strongly suggest that you keep a daily log of this, and you see a sample of that log now. You can do it on paper. There is a worksheet attached. If you prefer, you can do it on your smartphone, whatever is easiest. But my recommendation is keep a daily log in which you record what you did, how long you did it, and approximately the percent of how mindfully absorbed you were in the moment. Were you 75% absorbed? Were you 50% absorbed? 25%? Again, this will take practice, and my suggestion is that you practice these exercises daily, and you'll get quite good at it. Also, I suggest that you come back for session 3, where we have more mindfulness exercises, only in session 3, the exercises will be about being curious during conversation, which of course is crucial for social anxiety. So definitely come back for session 3. One last hint. When you're doing your homework, there may be times when you experience anxiety or other discomfort. That's okay. In fact, anxiety can be, ironically, your friend. When you notice that you're anxious, think of that as a cue, as a reminder, as someone sort of gently tapping you on the shoulder, reminding you to get out of your head and into the moment, to diffuse, to distance from your thoughts and feelings and symptoms, and to refocus with curiosity by taking interest in what you see and hear, to get immersed in the experience, absorbed in what you're seeing and hearing. So let anxiety be your reminder. Enjoy your daily practice, and please come back for session 3 when you are ready.